up next is Brandon Manley, founder and CEO of Virtual Ad, who will show you how to future-proof your data strategy following 6 core principles, so you can create a data flywheel and power your growth. You'll find out how to collect the right data to optimize your ads and improve customer experience. Plus, you'll walk away with a multi-channel attribution plan to increase your marketing spend efficiency. Let's hear it, Brandon.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm very excited to walk through today's topic, how to create a data flywheel to supercharge your growth. There are 6 different steps I'm going to be discussing. At the core of each step, I will be focusing on how data, analytics, and proper measurement are absolutely integral to helping you grow your business. First off, my name is Brendan Manley. I'm the founder and CEO of Virtual Ad. We're a boutique performance marketing agency based out of Toronto, Canada, specializing in scaling D2C brands. My experience has always been in digital marketing. I have around 10 years or so of in-platform experience running campaigns across a wide range of different ad technologies. Part of that skill set is also on the tracking and analytics side, where I have experience placing complex tracking tags via Google Tag Manager and then analyzing multi-channel performance using Google Analytics. A few fun facts about me. My favorite sport is hockey. I've been in skates since I was around 2 years old. My favorite food's pizza. That will come to no surprise to anyone that knows me. And my favorite album, as of recent, I wouldn't say all time, but one that I've been enjoying recently is called A Real Good Kid by Mike Posner. And I've been digging a lot of his new music recently, so I highly recommend giving him a listen. I've included our team here on the right. I wanted to include everyone because the creation of this presentation and the concept of the data flywheel has always been a collaborative team effort, and I just happen to be the one speaking today. So, it's no secret that advertising in a post-iOS world has created significant challenges. Measurement as a marketer is becoming more difficult because of people opting out of being tracked, and with cookies going away soon, conversion costs are going up, and they have been for a while. Running profitable campaigns online is becoming increasingly more difficult. With people opting out of being tracked comes smaller targetable audience sizes, making it more difficult for marketers to reach new potential customers. And with unreliable data collection, you cannot make data-driven decisions that are ultimately fundamental for business growth. And finally, scaling ad spend has become harder and harder for brands to do. So my goal today is to help you leverage data to unlock the door to more scale with your ads and more growth for your business. There are 6 steps that we're going to be covering. The first is all about measurement. What should you be measuring and how should you be measuring it? If you're collecting data effectively, you should then be able to have better insight into how users are converting throughout your purchase journey and find ways to optimize the rate at which people become a customer. If you're collecting data effectively, you should be able to segment your audiences more effectively from a prospecting and a retargeting standpoint, which will in turn help improve your ad performance. So we'll touch upon that. If you're collecting data effectively, you'll have historical metrics to rely on that will allow you to forecast growth more accurately and plan for the future. Assuming your funnel is performing from a profitable standpoint, we like to think of your ads budget as a throttle. If you throttle up your ads budget, you're going to increase scale, bring more visitors to your website. More visitors will see your offer and then eventually become a customer. If you throttle your ads budget down, the opposite will happen. So we'll touch upon that concept and we'll give some tips and tricks on how to scale your ad budget effectively. And then finally, diversification of your marketing. Why should you be diversifying? What are some of the benefits? And what should you be looking for from a metric standpoint in the ad platforms to help you identify when's the right time to diversify? Now, if you aren't practicing these 6 steps, I don't know that advertising is that worth it, to be honest, because advertising is super expensive. Every dollar counts. And, it's crucial. You're making the most of it. But if you're practicing these 6 steps, I do think it's going to open up the door to more business growth and more opportunity for your brand. So in the next 25 minutes, assuming everyone gets to the very end, you will be able to, 1, calculate advertising profitability, 2, have a better understanding of where you're losing users throughout your purchase journey, 3, have better audience segmentation from a targeting standpoint, which will improve your ad performance, 4, allow you to plan ahead by forecasting growth, 5, allow you to know when and how to scale up your ads, and 6, know when it's time to diversify your ad strategy. I've included an added bonus at the very end. You have to stay till the very end. It's literally the last slide, even after my thank you. But if you do stay till the end, you'll find a lot of value in these 2 bonus resources, allowing you to calculate advertising profitability and have better real-time insight into how people are graduating through your purchase funnel, which will allow you to optimize the performance of your marketing funnel. So we'll talk about those resources at the end, but let's get into step 1, measurement. So without proper measurement, you truly won't know what's broken. So we're going to look at what you should be measuring and how you should be measuring it so that you can then make data-driven decisions to improve performance. So you can start with a simple profitability formula. The first variable is visitors. This is the number of people that are clicking on your ads. You can pull this metric directly from your ads manager. It's your outbound clicks from your ads. Multiply this by the rate at which users are graduating through your purchase funnel and ultimately becoming a customer, and then multiply that by your average lifetime value. And we use a lifetime value because it's important to understand the net impact that your ads have on current and future revenue. If you're looking at just trackable purchases in your ads platform, that's great from an optimization standpoint, but you want to understand the future revenue that's going to be generated from those new customers that you're creating from your campaigns. And why do we want that information? Well, because it's more accurate representation of the net revenue that your ads are driving. It allows you more flexibility with your cost per acquisition, which gives you more confidence in paying a little bit more for a potential customer, making it quicker for you to allocate budget to scaling up your campaigns and growing your business. So with these 3 variables, that gives you a revenue calculation, and then you subtract your variable costs, things like production costs, shipping costs, payment processing fees, whatever other variable costs you might have, and that gives you your profitability formula. Now, visitors can be pulled from the platforms. Lifetime value can be pulled from your e-commerce data. There's apps like Lifetimely for Shopify, which do LTV cohort analysis, which is great. There's platforms like Hyros or Wicked Reports, or you could do a manual export of historical customer data and do an average to find that LTV number. So those metrics are available at your fingertips, but graduation rate, we're going to focus a little bit more on this because it's more of a manual calculation. It's a bit more complex to calculate. You have to set up some custom tracking events and things like that. So we're going to dive into this a little bit more. Now, graduation rate, again, is the rate at which people get from step A to B to C, all the way to becoming a customer. And having that drop-off tracking in place allows you to understand, where you might be losing people and what elements of your purchase funnel you might need to optimize. So you can easily set this up using Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics. And we've included a bonus at the very end of this presentation, specifically for Shopify stores. It's pretty much a Google Analytics goals template that you can import into your GA that gives you this funnel visualization so that by the end of this presentation, if you import that into your GA, you can start collecting this drop-off data. Now, step 2, convert. Again, advertising isn't really that productive if your funnel doesn't convert. It's often referred to as the leaky bucket analogy. Before scaling up your ad spend, you need to ensure other aspects of your marketing funnel are optimized and performing well. So let's walk through an example. On the right of this slide, you'll see a little table, and you can see the drop-off rate at which users are getting from the product page to add to cart to initiating their checkout to becoming a customer. Now, you'll notice that there's an unusually low drop-off rate from product view to add to cart. And now we're going to diagnose how we can actually improve upon this. So again, without drop-off tracking, you wouldn't really have this insight. You might question, is it your ads that are no longer performing? Is it the ad platform? Is there more advertising competition? Is your website slow? It's difficult to make a data-driven determination on how you can improve upon your bottom line purchase conversion rate because you don't know where that drop-off is. But with user drop-off tracking, you're able to immediately understand that, okay, there's an issue from step A to step B to C. So people are getting to the product page, but then they're not adding to cart. Let's diagnose this and figure out how we can improve on these metrics. So a few tips on the marketing side. Let's just focus on the first 2. Perhaps people are dropping off because there's a misalignment with the messaging in the ads versus the landing page. Maybe there's a disconnect there, and maybe your ads are showcasing certain products that aren't displayed on the landing page, or maybe there's a price disconnect, or the offer's different, or there's just there needs to be more ad relevance between what you're pushing and then what people are receiving post-click. The second point there, incentivize abandoners. Again, if people go to the product page, sometimes there's buyer consideration. You might have a slightly more premium product and they need to think about it a little bit. And all they need is a little nudge via a cart abandon or retargeting campaign, or a little incentive, maybe a $5 coupon or something that expires so that there's some urgency around getting them to complete their order. On the website side, let's just look at the first 2. Improve speed. Over time, your website gets slower. It makes sense because, you add more product SKUs, more product images. There's more pages now onto your site. Maybe you've got a blog. Maybe you're growing and you have more traffic to your website, which slows down your site. And you might have more marketing initiatives. So you might have more tracking tags set up on your website. All of these things in compound can slow down your website. And I read an article on Entrepreneur Magazine recently that said the average attention span of a user is 8 seconds. So literally every second that passes, you'll lose potential customers. And the unfortunate part about that is you've already paid for those customers because they've seen your ads, they've clicked on your ad, and they've dropped off because they're now waiting for the website to load. So optimize your website, make it a reoccurring habit to always do some page speed tests and then figure out ways to optimize your website. Custom landing pages is the next one on the list. Again, this is a no-brainer nowadays. There's a whole psychology around creating landing pages that are optimized to convert, and it's super important. Things like having one offer, no links taking people away from the page, high-quality product images, high-quality product videos, call to action above the fold, sticky header at the top so that the call to action is always visible. People are on mobile more than they're on desktop. So design your pages to be mobile first and then make them responsive for tablet and desktop. So take a look at, do some research on how you can optimize your landing pages. There's a lot of custom landing page builders out there that are super easy. You don't need to be a developer. And I highly recommend doing that to improve this metric. Now let's look at a scenario if we were to increase this add to cart rate from 5% to 10%. I want to take a look at how it has an impact on net revenue. To stay consistent with our profitability formula, we'll look at the number of visitors that click on your ads. So in this case, it's 314,788. Multiply this by the rate at which people are graduating through your purchase funnel and ultimately becoming a customer, and then multiply this by your LTV. This equates to your revenue figure, which is around $752,940. Now I've added in two columns, the first, target graduation rate, and the second, the number of users that would graduate through each step of your marketing funnel, assuming that we're using your target graduation rate. So if we were to improve your add to cart rate from 5% to 10%, you will see this has significant downstream effects on net revenue and the number of people that are graduating through your purchase journey. So for instance, instead of 14,297 people adding a product to cart, 29,891 people add a product to cart. And then at the bottom end, instead of 8,010 people completing a purchase, 16,747 people complete a purchase. Now, with these improvements, you'll see $1.5 million in revenue in this example, which is a 209% increase, and an additional $821,000 of revenue. And this is obviously a massive improvement, and it might be difficult to go from a 5% add to cart rate to a 10% add to cart rate. But the point is that even small incremental improvements will have a major impact on your major downstream impacts positively on your net revenue and net profitability. So even if you improved it by 1% or 2%, you'll see these numbers have a big impact on your net revenue. So step 3 is segment. It's all about audience segmentation, and first party data often creates some of the best advertising strategies. From a prospecting standpoint, here's a quick screenshot of your Facebook events manager. You have all of your standard events set up. I think there's one custom event there at the bottom. This opens up opportunities with lookalikes, retargeting, and exclusions. Lookalikes being telling Facebook to find similar users online to those that have purchased your products in the past or executed certain actions that you're tracking that are valuable to your business. Retargeting being interacting with people who have already interacted with your brand on or off Facebook through retargeting. And exclusions being the ability to define people that you do not want to target based off of certain events that you're tracking. Maybe they're past purchasers, maybe they're past purchasers in the past 30 days, maybe they're people that have done other actions on your website. It's a great way to also segment your audiences and tailor your messaging to certain people based on where they're at throughout their buying journey. And from a prospecting standpoint, if you're a new brand and you don't have a lot of data, you kind of have to rely on what's available, whether it's interest data from the platform or demographic data or some lookalike audiences off of your social media following. But if you're a brand with lots of data, you have the ability to find users that are more likely to convert. You can look at past purchasers that have spent above the average amount of revenue that people normally spend. And this all helps the ad platform have more data and signal volume to optimize more effectively. From a retargeting standpoint, here's an example of a basic marketing flow for a user. And we're just going to look at a few points on this diagram here: the FAM, Google search, Bing, various ad platforms. People that get to the website but then don't actually go to a product page, you can retarget them maybe in the past 45 days with something a little more educational, a video tutorial of your products explaining different features and benefits. Try to nurture them to come back. And then people that add a product to cart but don't end up purchasing, you can enter them into a retargeting sequence. So maybe it's a 3-day, 15-day, 45-day sequence where the first 3 days is a little nudge reminding them that they have products in their cart and to come back and complete their order. After, if they don't bite on that messaging, after the 3rd day to 15th day, maybe there's a $5, $10 coupon to incentivize them to come back, like a $10 or $15 coupon or a 20% off coupon with an expiry within 24 hours so that there's some fear of missing out and some urgency around that. And it's kind of a last ditch attempt to get them to come back. The point is that throughout your entire purchase funnel or marketing journey, you have the ability to customize your messaging based on and meet users where they're at in their buyer consideration. If someone read a blog on your website, you could retarget them with a piece of content specific to the information that they read on that blog. So there's lots of opportunities with how you're segmenting audiences based on the data that you're collecting. Step 4, forecasts. So predicting growth is, it's key to ensure that you can actually handle it. I'll go through a few examples. So the process that you'll take for forecasting, obviously with step 1, it relies, because not all businesses have a linear line of demand, and you need to allocate your budget accordingly for the future, for the next period, based on historical demand. So let's go through a quick example. Here's a table of a made-up scenario. The first column is your previous year ad channels. The second is your total spend, which we have as $5 million. The third is your average purchase rate of 3.19%. The fourth column is your total number of orders from the previous year, which in this case is 159,000. And the fifth column is your total revenue from the previous year, which is 22 million. So step 2, you define your growth goal. You want to grow 25%. You think it's realistic based off of your working capital, your cash flow, your hiring plans, and your production, and spikes around holidays like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, things like that. And so a great way to do this, and in this example, is to break historical revenue down by month. So in the second column, we're looking at the previous year's revenue by month. In the third column, we're taking a percentage allocation that each month had as a contribution to annual revenue. And then based off of that, we're doing an ad budget allocation by month by each month's historical percentage contribution out production plans for different months. How much inventory will you need for certain months? You can actually take this a step further and look at historical demand by product SKU by month. And then that allows you to plan even further with production and inventory requirements by product SKU, and then also allows you to prioritize product specific promotions on various marketing channels. See your offer. If you throttle up, and increase your daily budget, you're going to get more people to your website and more people into your purchase funnel. If you throttle down, you'll do the opposite. It's really as simple as that, but the difficult part is knowing when and how to leverage that ad throttle. So throttle down, you're still early stages with your business. Maybe you're in product valuing a viable business in place and seeing success from an organic perspective, and before trying to scale up your business through ads. Maintain speed. You're having a bit of success. You're testing and experimenting to see what works, and you're optimizing your marketing funnel and your purchase funnel to be profitable so that you can prepare yourself to be ready for scaling your campaigns. Throttle up. You have a profitable marketing funnel. Things are going well. You have good cash flow and working capital to invest in marketing. You're ready to bump up your spend and scale up your business. Diversify. At the end of the day, you'll see a bit of a law of diminishing returns with various ad platforms. Oftentimes, as you scale up budget, you'll start to hit a performance plateau. So at that point in time, it might make sense to diversify your marketing mix. Now, a few tips for scaling. We typically increase budgets by 15% increments every 2 to 3 days. The rule of thumb is about 30% or more within 4 or 5 hours restarts the Facebook algorithm and its optimization capabilities, which is not a good thing. And the longer you can span out the smaller budget increments that you can make, what metrics you'd like to see in a particular campaign. And if you're hitting those specific metrics, automatically scale up campaigns by a certain amount of budget that you're comfortable with. Launching new audience segments, testing new categories that you might not have tested before, bidding on a highest volume bid strategy. So if you're seeing scale limitations with a cost cap or bid cap strategy, take some of the best performing elements, increase scale by launching on another channel, and now you're running more budget through 2 different channels. Risk and reliance is a big thing. It's very risky being reliant on one ad platform as the key source of all of your revenue, especially nowadays with it's hard to get in touch with customer support if there's issues, if there's like certain audiences or ad formats. Multiple channels can work cohesively together with your marketing strategy. So Google search is a great way to drive high intent audiences and fill up your funnel. And Facebook's obviously a great visual asset where you can retarget people with something maybe a bit more educational, a video. And obviously Facebook's great at prospecting as well, but there's ways to leverage different platforms cohesively together to have a more robust marketing strategy. Things to look for, there's the Facebook Ad Inspect tool. So you can diagnose if you've hit a performance plateau. As ad spend goes up, performance does not. Audience saturation tool, where you can quickly identify if you've saturated an audience. The blue line represents frequency. Typically, if it's above 3 or so from a prospecting standpoint, you'll start to hit, I would imagine you'd start to hit certain performance plateaus. On the Google side, your campaign overview tool. So where you can look at how just costs in general is impacting conversion costs, and search impression share is the next one. Definitely a good thing to be looking at. It is pretty much signifies how, and it might make sense to open up your locations a bit or broaden your match types a bit or diversify into some new channels. So that's it. That concludes the 6 different steps to helping leverage data and analytics to increase scale and super more growth for your business. So with that, thanks everyone for attending and getting all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. And as promised, there's a few resources that I've included at the end here. The first is the customer journey spreadsheet tool that we built that allows you to, understand how people are dropping off throughout your purchase funnel. And then the second is an importable Google Analytics visualization report that allows you to immediately start collecting data related to user drop off with your purchase funnel, specifically for Shopify stores. Thanks again, everyone. I'll leave you with this quote. I actually heard it on a recent podcast called Perpetual Traffic, and it stood out to me. It's called, the quote is, "Measurement is how we listen, and marketing is how we respond." Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.